Fox News Alert, we just want to update you on the breaking news. We just got reports that the Federal Public Defender's Office in Boston says it wants to represent the Boston Marathon bombing suspect who was arrested last night. Back with me on that man's legal rights, Jay Sekulow and Julian Epstein. So Senator Graham came out and said, look, the reason we like the enemy combatant route, which would still put this guy back in the federal court system ultimately, is that type of questioning has no time limit or limit in scope. In a case like this, they say that questioning could take weeks just to prepare the questions that are needed and months before the intel gathering is completed. He said ultimately that the suspect would be entitled to a habeas hearing before a federal judge with appointment of capture. It takes place usually within 30 days of capture, and that is the fairest way to go. I'll give it to you on that, Jay.
And I think he's right. And I don't think it's grandstanding. I disagree with my friend Julian on that. I think that, look, I mean, Senator Graham is also a lieutenant colonel in the Judge Advocate General as a United States Air Force lawyer and has been critical at times of the Bush administration on some of the policies on detainment. I think this was well thought out. I do think that by declaring him an enemy combatant, we give ourselves time. It doesn't mean it's not prosecuted through criminal courts ultimately, but we get time. What is the key here? And this is what I would ask my friend Julian. Is it a prosecution so that we, the American people, would say, yes, this defendant is guilty? Or is it an investigation? Who financed them? Who trained them? Are there others? They had an awful lot of weapons, and the callousness in which this was executed shows training. So I asked the question to Julian, do we want a prosecution here, or do we want a thorough investigation that's going to take more than 48 hours?
Go ahead, Julian.
I think it's a very good question, and I think the problem is that I don't know how many benefits you get out of going the enemy combatant route, and I think you have a lot of drawbacks. If you go the enemy combatant route, you may be able to get a little bit more information. You may not be. What we've seen was they've prosecuted these cases like they did in the case of the Christmas underwear bomber. That individual sung like a bird about a month afterwards and gave the law enforcement all the information they were looking for. The problem with going the enemy combatant route, on the other hand, is that in terms of the prosecution, it sets up all kinds of legal challenges, both at the circuit court and Supreme Court level, afterwards, if you begin to do things like denying and unfortunately this individual is a U.S. citizen, denying a U.S. citizen things like the right to counsel and the right against self-defense. The civilian route right now under the Justice Department gives the Justice Department an extraordinary amount of latitude to get all this information from the public safety exception. There is no time limit necessarily.
It's an interesting thing. Can I just say, I just want to say one thing, just so we're clear, American citizens, this is from Graham's release, and it's true, American citizens who take up arms against our nation have been held as enemy combatants. You can be an enemy combatant.
Absolutely. No question.
But there is still a debate about it, you know, still. That doesn't answer the question, the debate.
Like the John Walker Lynn
question.
case.
48 hours is not going to be, I mean, we'd have to look at this really seriously, which I know Julian is too. We've got somebody that was of Chechnyan origin, who came to the United States, utilized our system, including our education system, took up arms against the United States, took a bomb and put it next to an 8-year-old kid. Okay, knew he was doing it, and exploded that bomb, killing that kid. Now, I don't look at this as just a murder. This is an act of terror, and the ultimate act of terror. People are saying it's not the same as 9/11. Sure it is. It just didn't have the magnitude of death scope, but for the 3 families that have lost loved ones and the police officer's family now 4, yeah, it had the same scope.
So
what do we do if we would have caught Osama bin Laden in the United States and he had been given citizenship? I don't think we would have been running him through the U.S. District Court in Boston.
All right, well, it remains to be seen.
But
Julian has a point that the Obama administration policy has been well stated, and so we expect Miranda.
And it was the Bush administration policy.
And we do expect Miranda. We do expect it to take place only after they've had a chance to question him about immediate threats.
What a mistake that could end up being,
and how broadly they describe that, we shall see. Jay, Julian, great to see you.